Okay, so I've inked the drawing. I erased the pencil lines and I've outlined it in ink. I use this Copic marker or Copic multiliner, but you can use anything like a ballpoint pen or even a dark pencil or anything you wish, watercolor paint. But so that's done, and you just kind of go around the edges with the pen to make it darker, but you gotta make sure it dries before you try to color it or else it might smear. So okay, on to the coloring. Okay, so to color this I'm going to be using Copic markers, but you can use any kind of art tool you wish to use. You can use watercolors, paint, colored pencils, markers, anything you wish, even just like graphite. So to color, I just use, my main color palette is just copious amounts of gray and stonewash colors because I just greatly enjoy pastel colors. And I just kind of keep going around until it's got a nice coat of... it's not dead yet, but I will keep adding more shading, and I will go really fast this time to make sure it doesn't streak too much, and it's still streaking. I don't understand this. It usually doesn't do that. But, and just add a little bit of shading, just keep building up in the shaded areas like this. Just keep going to the areas where the shadow hit. Or not too long, you want to keep it simple, and you can avoid this step. Let's go the other way. And then we just keep shading in, trying to avoid those streaks again, which are hard to avoid sometimes with markers. Sometimes you can blend them out. That's why it's really streaky. I apologize if that doesn't usually happen. But, usually it's a lot smoother to blend. Maybe when I add some purple shading to this, it will help smooth out those streaks. So, let's keep adding coloring. Okay, so now I'm adding a little bit of purple shading to the deep shadows of this drawing to give it a really dramatic look. And again, this is optional with the shading. This is just something I like to do again. But her hair had a little bit of a berry hue to it, so that's why I'm adding the purple. So I will keep continuously coloring in the deepest areas or the tips of the hair. Okay, so I don't want to make this too dark, so I'm going to add a little bit of this to it, which will make it dark at first, but then I have a trick where I like to blend it in with the lighter color to give it kind of a blended look, like such. And that gives it a little bit more of a lighter tone to it, like this, and I just keep going until it has kind of a feathered look to it, like that. And I increase the dark on this side, and then that looks kind of cool. So then I do the same with the top part, but this is a little bit of a sheer, so I don't want to make this too red, so I'll just add sparsely and then continue the shading and blending it in like this, and that looks kind of cool. I went off the line a little bit, but it's not too shabby. I'm adding some green tones to her eyes, starting with a light green color because she wears sometimes the green, so I thought with the pink it would pop, although I prefer her natural brown eyes, but this is kind of a poppy kind of drawing, so I'm going to try that. And I add a little bit more of the steel green color in the middle of the eye, increasing it in the iris to give it a dramatic look. Same with the other eye. We add that in like this, and increase it over the top, giving her an eye like this. Repeating the same for Mitchie, but I like to add kind of a tannish hue. Actually, this is the same marker I use for most skin tones on the characters, but I like to add it into Mitch's eye to give it kind of a stone-washed brown look, pastel. Okay, I just keep adding it liberally until it's like this, and then I add it with kind of a putty color, and I do it while it's still wet so it blends in like this. Same with the other eye, we add that into the color. Just keep blending it in like this. Oops, I went too far on the bottom, but then for the final touch I go over the top quickly with gray. Into the iris. And giving him an eye like this. So then I'm doing the same on Mitch's arm, coloring it red similar to Kirsty's outfit. And I will do it with a light pink first, which is going off in the lines again, but oh well. And it would normally be on his shorts too, which I saw in the picture, but he's sitting cross-legged, so there'll be no shorts. And I quickly add some red to it while it's still wet. And then I blend it in a little more to give it kind of a shimmery look. Now we do the skin tones, and I'm using the same color I used in Mitch's eye, it's light tan, and I will keep building this color up to do the skin gradients, and then be careful not to go into the eye like this, leave an outline on the outside to give it that poppy look. Then I just keep going around, gently around the edges, which is hard to do with markers, but I'll do my best. Oops, it's smeared. It's hard to avoid sometimes. And she's smearing. Stop smearing. And again, feel free to add any kind of shading you want. Sometimes the type of shading where it's like cross-hatched or inked looks awesome too. Any kind of style that you wish to do, just feel free. When you're drawing this drawing, just do whatever suits your style. You don't have to copy my styles if you want. If you do, go right ahead. If you don't, just do whatever you wish. I'm looking forward to seeing your versions of this drawing. I'm actually very excited to see if you don't mind submitting them to me. You can submit them either on my Twitter or Instagram by linking them to me, and I would be so glad to see them, to see your take on my drawings. I went a little too extreme on that ink under the eye, but at least he looks kind of cool. And I just usually just keep adding it up with Mitch because he's got a nice darker skin tone. And again, she's streaking. I don't understand the streaking. Usually it doesn't do this. I apologize. Oh man, it's really smearing. I'm sorry about that. The pen I use claims to be streak-free with alcohol markers, but it doesn't quite do its job most of the time, unfortunately. Streaking pretty bad. Whoops. Now for the final step, I use a paint marker for the highlights on things like the hair. This is again not necessary, but I like to do it just to give it a little more natural look to certain things like this. And sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't. I never know how it's going to work, honestly. But this time it seems to be doing pretty good. And I just use it on little things that could use a little bit of reflection, like such. Fix that error I made on his eye. And then you just keep, like, using it throughout the drawing. And on Kirsty, I have to be careful not to touch Mitch right now, so... And it's done, except for this. So that's how I draw chibis, mostly, except for the problems that happened during this drawing. But so that's the finished result, and I would honestly love to see your submissions. If you want to tweet them to me on my Twitter account or link them to me on my Instagram account, I would absolutely love to see your versions of these drawings, and do whatever you want to do to them. They're your canvas. Please just give me an idea of your style. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope this helped.